Hey, mahal everyone! Welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host 40 and we are back with another video on the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, guys, we're going to be discussing the overview and details for the next character event that's going to be coming out, featuring Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. So Square Enix really surprised us this time with Noctis coming out early. That's right, he's actually coming out a lot earlier compared to the Japanese version of the game when they got Noctis. So this is a real treat for us global players, especially we all know there's a lot of Noctis fans out there. So this event is going to be entitled Royal Hope. Prince Noctis Lucius Calum arrives to global DFFOO early. Being a dark crystal wielder, Noctis is a jack of all trades physical damage dealer that improves his abilities when he either targets an enemy and breaks them, or he's already attacking an enemy that is already targeted. And he's also a turn manipulator with his abilities, and we'll get to that when we actually discuss his abilities. Statistically wise, Noctis excels in speed and max brave, and his 5-star princess fatigues are going to be available to us in the armor token shop, as well as, don't forget, we get 2 free copies of that armor when we clear his event, as well as a free copy of his 15 CP engine blade when we clear his event. And Noctis is going to be marking the level 60 character event era. That's right. So with his release to global, he's going to be the first character event that we get at level 60, and moving forward, every brand new character event is going to be at level 60. Rem and Irvine are going to be joining us as synergy characters, and it's cool for Rem because we know that she did get her level 60 awakening already. Not sure if Irvine is going to get his with this event, but hey, we never know, as we know that this is a curveball for us as far as the timeline for Dissidia Opera Omnia, because we're getting Noctis early. So if Irvine gets his level 60 alongside this event too, then hey, that's awesome. And the boss that we're going to be fighting in this event is going to be called the Phantom Male, and this boss uses some pretty tricky abilities, and we're going to get to that when we actually discuss the boss. So taking a look at Noctis's abilities, he has 2 abilities. So the first one is called Shooting Star, and then afterwards that converts into Shooting Star Plus. His second ability is called Death Drop, which changes into Death Drop Plus, and then he also has his EX ability, provided that you do have his EX weapon equipped, called Armiger. And then he also has another ability called Warp Strike, and this is provided that you have his 35 CP weapon. So a little bit more details into these abilities is ability 1, Shooting Star, is a 2-hit range brave attack. So the second hit of this brave attack is going to be AoE, and again, this changes to Shooting Star Plus if he uses this ability and breaks the target, or if he's already using this ability on a broken target. And Shooting Star Plus is going to be a 2-hit range stronger brave attack, with that second hit again being AoE, and it reverts back to Shooting Star after he uses it. And if Noctis hits the target, his turn moves to right before that enemy is about to attack or about to act. So this is why we mentioned that he is a turn manipulator. And then his ability 2 in detail is Death Drop. So this is going to be a 1-hit range brave attack. It does change to Death Drop Plus if he breaks the target with his ability, or if he's already using it on a broken target. Death Drop Plus is going to be a 1-hit stronger range brave attack, and if Noctis again hits the target, his turn is going to be moved right before that target is about to act. So again, he likes to manipulate his turns. And then his Warp Strike, again, if you have his 35 CP weapon equipped, is going to be taking the place of his Death Drop. So this is going to be a 1-hit range brave plus HP attack, which grants Noctis a small attack up for 5 turns, and also changes his Warp Strike to Warp Strike Plus, which is essentially a stronger version of that attack. And if the ability again breaks the target or hits a broken target, that's when we get that Warp Strike Plus. So remember, in order to use Warp Strike, which replaces Death Drop, you gotta have his 35 CP passive. And then his EX ability Armiger, going into detail on that, is a 12-hit melee brave plus HP attack. It grants him the unique buff called Royal Arms for 5 turns, and Royal Arms will be adding an additional brave attack hit to Noctis's abilities for each additional stack, as well as a max brave up, and this lasts for 5 turns, and the cap is at 5 for those stacks. So every time you get a stack, you're adding that additional brave hit for his abilities, as well as increasing the amount of max brave that he has, so that max brave up buff. But remember, this does require his EX weapon passive. So that's going to be Noctis's abilities right there. Considering his crystal passives, we have Shooting Star power up, which is pretty good because we get a damage increase on Shooting Star. Break speed up. He gets a speed up for 1 turn after breaking an enemy. He's already fast enough as it is, although when we discuss the boss, this could be a useful passive to equip to him when fighting the particular boss for his event. Back attack, he gets a brave damage increase when he's attacking an enemy that is not targeting him. It's kind of situational, and also with a CP cost of 15, this is a little bit on the higher side. Death Drop power up, brave damage dealt by Death Drop and Death Drop plus up. Definitely you want to have that way you're dealing more damage with those abilities. Smash attack up, he gets an attack up for 1 turn after he initiates a chase sequence. This could be situational, but it's really up to you if you want to use this. Shooting Star charge, you definitely want that, get an additional usage on that Shooting Star. Buff speed up while buffed. CP cost is at 10. Again, I feel like it's situational, but for this particular event for Noctis with the boss, I feel like maybe it could be a good thing to use. Death Drop charge, you want that additional usage on Death Drop. The Prince's Will, he gets a max brave and an attack up when his HP is at max at the final battle. Again, we know how useful this particular passive is because we have similar passives on other characters, especially if they are damage dealing units, so you definitely want this on Noctis. And again, because he is a level 60 character when he comes out, he's going to have those level 51 to 60 passives, so he's going to be getting buff boost and speed all, which is going to be giving all of your party members a max brave and speed up while they're buffed. The CP cost for this is 5, which is really, really good. Shooting Star Extend is going to be increasing the brave damage modifier for Shooting Star and Shooting Star Plus, and also when you use Shooting Star Plus, Noctis actually auto-initiates the chase sequence. So this is actually pretty powerful, especially for using that launch or chase mechanic. The CP cost for this is at 15. Buff attack and speed attack up. His attack and speed is going to be further increased while he is buff. And for a CP cost of 5, that's actually pretty good value right there. And then Death Drop Extend. It's going to be increasing the brave damage modifier on Death Drop, Death Drop Plus, Warp Strike, and Warp Strike Plus. And when using the plus versions of those abilities, Noctis will actually be granting himself 1 stack of his unique buff, Royal Arms, for 5 turns. This is a great way to build up the unique buff that he has from Armiger, because now with the level 60 Crystal passive, he can actually get this too, 1 stack of it, and then he also gets 2 additional uses for Death Drop. So overall, he has some really, really good passives, with some passives actually being very good for his particular event. Now, taking a look at his artifact passives, he's going to be getting Brave Guard up 1 star, 2 star. Defense increase, depending on which one you have when his brave is over 50%. Again, defense is probably one of the least prioritized stats, so I don't really think he needs this. The Prince's Will up 1 star, 2 star. It's going to be increasing the effects of the Prince's Will. Very, very good passive. And then Shooting Star power up and Death Drop power up, depending on which one you have, will be increasing the brave damage on those abilities if you really need those. Now, the top priority passives for Noctis is definitely going to be Max Brave plus 330, because he builds up to his Max Brave quite quickly, especially with Shooting Star, because that second hit is AoE, so he has a high chance of scoring that break. And then attack plus 108, so then that way he has a higher chance of scoring that brave break with a higher attack stat. And then the Prince's Will up 2 star, you definitely want that, because we want him to have the increased effects of his level 50 Crystal passive. Now, with this event, we're going to be able to summon for Noctis' weapons 3 brand new weapons, including his EX weapon. Now, we know that they did increase the rates for 5 stars, but remember, the rate for an EX weapon is at 5%, so it's still kind of low, but at least they did increase the overall rates for 5 stars. So, going into detail, 15 CP Engine Blade. It's going to be increasing that brave damage modifier for Shooting Star and Shooting Star Plus. It's also going to be granting Noctis a small max brave up for 5 turns after he uses Shooting Star or Shooting Star Plus. So this happens after, but hey, it's an increase to his max brave for 5 turns, which is good for a damage dealing unit. His 35 CP Air Step Sword is going to be changing that Death Drop to Warp Strike, so that's pretty good, because Warp Strike does have that HP attack right after the brave attack, and it also grants Noctis a small attack up for 5 turns after he uses those abilities. So again, damage dealing unit, increasing his attack, very, very good. And then his 70 CP or his EX weapon is called Rune Saber. This is going to first be equipping his EX ability called Armiger or Conjure Armiger, and then at 1 limit break, it's going to give him the passive Armiger power, which is going to be increasing the brave damage dealt by his Armiger EX ability. At 2 limit break, it's going to be giving him the passive Armiger rank up, which is going to be giving his Royal Royal Arms a stack of a default at 3. So now when he grants himself that unique buff Royal Arms, instead of just giving him 1 stack, it gives him 3. So he's going to get closer and closer a lot faster to that cap of 5 stacks. And then at max limit break or 3 limit break, he's going to be getting Armiger recast up, which is going to be speeding up that recast speed for his EX ability. And then the repeated weapons on this banner is going to be 15 CP and 35 CP for Rem, and 15 CP and 35 CP for Irvine. Now, should you pull on this banner? This is going to be a tough one, because since we're getting this early, this means that Noctis actually has a lot of time, more time to shine compared to when he did come out in the Japanese version of the game. Noctis himself is actually a really good character. He's very versatile, and he has some pretty good options. However, without going into too much detail, because I do have a good or not good video for Noctis, he is highly reliant on that EX weapon. So for him to really shine, he needs that EX weapon, guys. So my thoughts are, this is a 50-50 banner. I'm not going to say it's a must pull, because it's a definite whale banner, because Noctis does need all of his weapons to really be able to function. And as we get further along into Dissidia Opera Omnia with the next weapons that they release, EX weapons characters, you're going to find that there are some characters that don't really need their EX weapons, but Noctis is that character that needs his EX weapons. So if he is your favorite, if he is your husbando, I always tell you guys, if they're your favorite, pull for them. But is this a must pull? He is early, so I think it's worth it to pull for him. But if you don't get his EX weapon, just remember that he is a character that definitely needs his EX weapon to really be able to function properly. All right, so the Phantom Male boss is going to be the boss for this event. So this is going to be an Iron Giant type monster. It's going to be resistant to magic. It does have a chase HP value at 40. The abilities that it uses are going to be using standard abilities that the Iron Giant type enemies use. So you got Leaping Swing, Double Slash, Thrust Torrent. We've all seen these abilities before. But this monster has a gimmick that you guys got to be prepared for. So it's an ability called Phantom. So it's going to buff itself. Okay, and the buffs that it gives itself increases every time it uses this ability. It gives itself a higher turn rate with this ability, and it hides its turn from the turn bar. So this is why Noctis is critical if you guys plan on building up Noctis, because Noctis puts himself right before the enemy acts, as long as he's using the plus abilities on the enemy. So this is why Noctis is very good for this event. So this enemy likes to do that. It hides its turn, gives us a high turn rate. So you want to make sure to be prepared for that. It can also delay a target's turn with an ability called Phantom Sneak, which is a melee brave attack that has a high turn rate, and it can inflict a turn rate down debuff on the target with Phantom Raid. And this ability does have a higher turn rate for Phantom Male when it's targeting a broken target, or if it breaks a target with this ability. So characters that I would definitely recommend outside of Noctis, Rem is going to be good, not only because she's synergy, but also because she influences the turn rate and she can use that turn swap. But also you want to consider using maybe Sephiroth, because Sephiroth, as long as you have his passives, has that Genova buff, which is also acts as a debuff, and that doesn't have a turn duration, and what that does is it actually lowers the speed. So influencing the speed in this battle is definitely going to be something to look out for when it comes to combating these Phantom Male bosses. Now, some final tips. Obviously, you want to farm up those dark crystals for Noctis. That way you have enough to use to unlock all of his crystal passives. And don't forget, we're going to be getting the high shards, the high dark shards for him through the event. So be sure to save those for him if you guys are planning on building him up. And then if you have Irvine and Rem built up, definitely bring them along, especially Rem, because we already have her awakened state in the global version of the game, so she's going to be really useful, especially with her turn swap. Irvine, I mean, unless he gets his unless he surprises with his level 60, I feel like he's not really necessary, even though he is synergy. But if you feel like you want to use him and you haven't built up, go ahead. But again, like I mentioned earlier, Sephiroth is a definite must to bring if you haven't built up, because he'll definitely help in lowering the speed of these Phantom Male bosses. And other characters that you could bring is even Terra at level 60, because she does have that speed down debuff on her Meteor ability, so she's another character that you could bring. And then bringing in Cloud, if you if you guys want to play ping pong with with Cloud and Noctis using Finishing Touch and Shooting Star Plus, as long as you have Noctis's Crystal passive level 55, you guys can play ping pong, initiating that chase sequence. So you guys can have some fun with that. And then summon of choice, because this boss does resist magical attacks. You can always use Ifrit, but just be prepared for them to resist Ifrit's fire, because it is a fire magical attack. So you just want to keep that in mind. But with single player, definitely use Ifrit. And then for those of you that are going to be doing the co-op, a lot of people still prefer Sylph and Chocobo, just because it just speeds up the co-op. It makes it a lot faster and a lot easier to farm the tokens. That way you can exchange a bunch of them for the rewards available with this event. Now, I do have a gameplay footage for the Phantom Male boss. I'm going to be doing the level 81, just to kind of give you guys hopefully an accurate depiction. Now, it might be a little bit different when we get it in the global version of the game, but at least you guys will get to see what the Phantom Male boss does. So let's go ahead and take a look at the gameplay for my JP version of the account. Alrighty guys, so here we are following that discussion for the upcoming Noctis event coming out for the global version of Opera Omnia. I am going to be using my JP account to showcase you guys a little bit of gameplay for what's to come for this event. Now, I am doing the level 80. It may not quite accurately represent what we're going to be seeing with the global version for this event, but it's just again to give you guys a visual, get you guys a little bit hyped up for this event and see what it's all about. Now, I do understand that my Noctis is at level 70. In the JP version of the game, he did actually get his rework and his level 70 awakening, so this Noctis is going to be considerably more powerful compared to what we're getting in global. But again, it's to give you guys a little bit of a treat too, so then that way you know that our boy Noctis is going to get even better in the future of the game. Now, for Irvine, we don't know if we're going to get his level 60 awakening alongside the Noctis event for global, so I did remove his level 55 and 60 passives. But as far as for Rem, because we do have access to that now in global, I went ahead and left her as she is with her 55 and 60 passives available. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this event with a Noctis friend and the Ifrit summon. Alright, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and open up here with Irvine. We're just going to go ahead and use his ability 2 to deal some AoE HP damage. Now with Rem, Rem is probably going to be a synergy support character for this event that you want to consider taking, because we know that the boss likes to hide its turns, so having Rem actually use turn swap strategically could actually play into your favor. So you can, constantly swap her with another DPS unit's turn, or maybe even Noctis if you guys plan on building Noctis for this event. Alright, so we're just going to be going ahead and clearing some mobs here. And again, Noctis' abilities right now may not accurately represent what we're going to see, because they are considerably more powerful, and he does have the overflow mechanic already available to him within the the JP version of the game, but at least we know that this is something to look forward to as far as his character in the future. So he does get a lot better. Right, so we're going to turn swap again, because we want to see Noctis in action. Let's go ahead and use Shooting Star Plus, so it deals HP damage now with his rework. And remember, the Shooting Star Plus version with his Crystal passive level 55 will auto-initiate the chase, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we got our summon up, perfectly ready for the upcoming boss fight. So remember, we're going to be fighting the Phantom Male. Again, this boss is part of the Iron Giant family, so uses very similar abilities. However, remember, it does use that buff called Phantom, where it hides its turns, and it does open up with that when it starts its turn off. So it's going to be granting itself some Brave based on its max Brave, increasing its stats, and having that ability to hide its turns. So you want to watch out for it. So we're just going to go ahead and open up here. I'm actually going to go ahead and attack the Phantom Male here, just to break both of them with Shooting Star, both Phantom Male and the Lich. Let's go ahead and get that debuff off with Irvine. There we go. And then let's go ahead and turn swap with Noctis. And we almost have his EX ready, but let's go ahead. Let's just check out his Warp Strike Plus now. So his Warp Strike Plus now, when he gets his rework, he actually attacks twice, which is really, really cool and really powerful. So now let's go ahead and use his Armigger EX. Again, his Armigger, fully limit broken, assuming that you have his EX weapon fully limit broken, will be granting him this time 3 stacks of his Royal Arms unique buff, versus only granting him 1 if you don't have it fully limit broken. And it's those stacks that you really want to maintain, which is why it's very, very important to have Noctis' EX weapon should you decide to use Noctis in your party. And also remember, with his Crystal passive level 60, his Warp Strike or his Death Drop, depending on if you pull this 35 CP weapon or not, actually grants him 1 stack of that Royal Arms unique buff. So it helps him get closer and closer to that, that 5th stack. And remember, each stack grants him an additional Brave hit on his abilities, which is something that we definitely want. Okay, so as you saw, he hit his turn. Okay, let's see. We're going to go ahead and switch back to Noctis here with Turn Swap. Let's use Shooting Star. And again, if this looks easy, it's because my characters in the Japanese version of the game are further ahead, especially Noctis with level 70. So this is why the event is looking a little bit easy on this gameplay showcase. But again, this is just to give you guys a visual for what's to come for this event within the global version of the game. And hopefully you guys are just as excited as I am, as we're getting Noctis early in the global version of the game compared to when Japan did. Alright, so we're just gonna finish off this Lich. Actually, let's go ahead and summon. There we go. So that is going to be it for this gameplay showcase for the Noctis event, soon to come out for the global version of Opera Omnia. Again, hopefully you guys are excited. I certainly am. I love what Square Enix is doing with this game, surprising us and giving us these events early. That way, it kind of separates the whole global and JP. So keeping the games sort of different because they are following a somewhat of a different timeline. But very, very excited. Again, hopefully you guys are. I can't wait to release another video for Noctis, which is going to be good or not good, so stay tuned for that. Once again, I am 40 the Broadway Saiyan. See you later, and to Mahal, everyone.